So how do you do that in the most efficient way by using a tool like Chat GPT?
I know what you're thinking. What would Ziggy do?
Hey everybody, Dave Bazanko here for Resilient Strategies. So today what we're talking about is, have you ever wondered how Chat GPT can help you manage difficult customer situations, especially when you're in sales? So when it comes to following up after a difficult sales call, and I mean, we've all been there when customers have hung up on us, been rude to us. Hey, you never know what's going on in that person's background, what's happened to them that day that may have set them off. And you just calling might just be adding another log onto the fire. And that, unfortunately, is your job to be professional in that follow-up, but you just never know what's going on in the background. And it's really hard to remove yourself from that situation emotionally. I mean, it can be really draining on a salesperson when you're constantly feeling like the world is ganging up on you and you're just coming to work trying to do your job, trying to help solve a problem for somebody. When you're dealing with these types of situations, with these types of customers, it can be emotionally exhausting. And that's not the best place to be writing any kind of follow-up email from. But you've got to do your job, you've got to do the follow-up, and you've got to move on to your next customer. So how do you do that in the most efficient way by using a tool like Chat GPT? I mean, the truth is, emotional responses are often the result of being misunderstood or misheard. So when that customer on the other end of the phone is being short with you, it's not a personal attack against you, especially if you've been professional. Now, if you're being a nuisance, that's one thing. But if you're using, a CRM, a customer relationship management tool, to be consistent in your follow-up and you're being respectful in your follow-up, usually something else is going on and you've got to get to the bottom of that. So how can ChatGPT help you, and how can you provide instant responses to your customers, to your prospects, without the emotions or the attachments or the feelings that you feel in the heat of the moment, so that you can get on to your next customer and get back to it with a smile on your face? Now, imagine being able to respond to a difficult call with a reassuring email that's going to move the sales process forward. Well, it can be this easy. If I go to ChatGPT, and this is the free version, you don't have to have the paid version for this. I know you can put in some templates in the paid version that help ChatGPT know who you are. But in this case, we're going to use the free version because that's what's available to everybody. And I've got a simple prompt that I put in, and I'm just going to paste that in there. So I'm asking ChatGPT, I'm saying, write a follow-up email to a phone call where the prospect hung up on me after several attempts to connect to get a decision after a sales presentation. I want to keep the sales process moving forward, but I also want to be respectful of the prospect's time. So you can change the language here to be specific to the product or service that you sell. And what I would normally do is I would take this prompt and I would play with it a little bit until I got the absolute best response I could for my company, my business. And then I would save that as my template. And then in my customer relationship software, I use HubSpot, I would save this email as a template. The only thing that I would change out, I would personalize it with the company name, the prospect's name, but everything else is going to remain the same. And the title to this template email might be "Follow Up After a Difficult Conversation with a Prospect," so that I know when I go into that template, I know the tone of the email that I'm sending out. So what happens when I put this prompt into ChatGPT? Well, here it is. It's going to give me the exact response that I'm looking for. And if it's not, you can always go back and just change the prompt a little bit so that you can see exactly, get the tone exactly the way you want it. So, the subject line, it isn't, "Hey man, you hung up on me, what the hell?" It is, "Hey, quick check-in, timing and next steps." So, "Hey prospect, hope you're doing well. I understand that things can get busy. I want to be respectful of your time." That's the first thing. You're showing empathy by saying, "I want to be respectful of your time. I'm not calling to bother you. I just wanted to quickly follow up after our last attempt to connect. It seems I might have caught you at a bad time." You're acknowledging that they perhaps weren't as professional as they could have been on their end. And maybe that will sit differently with them the next time you call. "I wanted to check in and see if there's a better time for us to have a brief chat about the presentation that I made, your product or service, whatever. I'm confident I can provide these specific benefits. If now isn't the right time to discuss this, no worries at all. Just let me know what works best for you, or if you'd prefer, I can follow up at a later date. Looking forward to hearing from you. So, what that did was it recognized an emotional moment. It recognized an emotional response that wasn't positive from the customer, but I didn't throw it back in their face. It allowed me to craft a very professional response in a very short period of time. Now, if I like the way this letter looks, I can then put that into my CRM as a template. And now I've got a tool, a form letter that I can send out in this type of circumstance. What I can tell you is over my years of selling, I wish that I had a tool like this that could help me in these repetitive situations where if you're being professional in your sales follow-up, eventually somebody's either going to snap or they're going to say, hey, man, you're really professional in your follow-up. Thank you for that. It's been busy for us here. I respect that you've been respectful of my time. And that's what you're going to find is that when you're respectful, if you acknowledge that you're being respectful of their time, you're just trying to do your job, you're going to find that that's going to move things down the sales process ladder that much quicker and remove that emotional distress from the conversation. I actually remember having a call with a client once, and something had gone on in the background for them that day. I don't know what had happened, but I called. They were upset. They didn't want to talk to me. The shit was hitting the fan back at the office, and I stepped away from that call and I said, "Thank you for your time. I'll follow up." And they actually hung up before I even got a chance to say I'll follow up. And I just sat there like, really, man, I'm just trying to do my job and be professional in my job. And the next time I reached out to them using this type of a template, they said, hey, yeah, Dave, you know what? It was a bad day. There was stuff going on. I apologize for being rude. And let's just move forward. And the one comment I always hear back from using this approach is, especially if it takes months to follow up with somebody to finally get a decision, I love the comment that I get that says, hey, man, I've never met somebody as professional as you. And simply, the professionalism comes from, I'm not being emotionally attached to the conversation, and I'm being professional in how I follow up. If you're not using a CRM right now, which is a customer relationship management system, I use HubSpot, you're losing out, because that's where the conversations don't fall through the cracks. And eventually, if you're professional in your follow-up, eventually the prospect's going to have to respond to you. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. If you have any examples of how you've used Chat GPT that you can share with the group, I would love to see that in the comments. So the next day that you go to have a difficult conversation with somebody, you've got to craft an email, think of using Chat GPT, play with that prompt, find the email response that works for you, and it takes all that emotion out of the reply. So key takeaway, Chat GPT can simplify and improve your sales communications. So if you've got experience using Chat GPT in your sales process and you had success with it, leave it in the comments below. Drop us the prompt that you use so that others can learn from your experience too. So thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Have an awesome sales day.